Hi everyone, I'm Meghan Sullivan and welcome to my demo review of Harvestella, developed and published by Square Enix for the Nintendo Switch. Let's not waste any time, let's just jump right into it. So first things first, the graphics. I'm aware that the graphics for this RPG farming simulator are not exactly bleeding edge. In fact, everything looks very geometrical. But you guys, it's just so pretty. The character and building models are quaint and charming. I love the character portraits, they're beautiful, and I appreciate the simple but inclusive character creator that lets me choose everything from my avatar's gender to skin tone. Harvestella might not be able to compete with the kind of visual grandeur of, say, Horizon Forbidden West or God of War, and I admit I wasn't keen on the constant frame rate drops and occasional blurriness. Please tell me that gets fixed, Square Enix. But even still, its bright colors and cozy design made me smile. I also love the music. It's so whimsical and peaceful, and it fits the world perfectly. Seriously, I could just sit back and listen to it all day. But don't get the wrong idea. Despite its relaxing music and laid-back charm, this game is actually a lot more fast-paced than it appears. Now that's partly because time moves fast in this game. Most farming simulators give you plenty of time to tinker around your farm and then go out into the world and explore, but not Harvestella. The seconds tick by very quickly, and almost every activity takes time to do, so time management is an important factor. Which I don't mind since I love time management games. But that's not all. The story also moves fast, and I'm happy to report that despite some convoluted JRPG gobbledygook, it's pretty intriguing so far. Now at first, Harvestella starts off like your typical JRPG. You wake up with amnesia outside a small village because of course you do, and the very nice villagers allow you to stick around until you regain your memories. Now, for some reason, the local physician, who looks an awful lot like Persona 5's Dr. Takemi by the way, thinks the fastest way for you to recover is through hard manual labor, aka farming, which totally makes sense. Thus, your character is immediately blessed with farming tools and seeds and is told to get to work. But alas, things are not so simple, and this is where the story gets interesting. It turns out the mysterious village you wake up in is in the middle of a seasonal phenomenon known as the quietus, in which the air becomes extremely toxic, causing widespread illness and even death. By the way, in case you were wondering, quietus is a real Middle English term, which initially meant a writ that exempted a knight or baron from service, but was later used by Shakespeare as a metaphor for death. At any rate, the cause of this so-called season of death are star slights, giant crystals scattered throughout the world that send toxins into the air with every passing season. And it's these crystals that also seem to be causing other sorts of strange phenomena, like the sudden arrival of a time traveler named Aria, who coincidentally has also lost her memories. Much of the demo is dedicated to talking to and following Aria around as she tries to solve the mystery of the Starslight's power. But she's not the only one that's taken an interest in them. So too have the ominous-looking Omen, a race of people with Metroid-inspired armor who seem to have their own agenda. At any rate, it's up to you to unravel the mystery of what Starslights are and why everybody is interested in them. Now, since the demo is only a couple of hours long, these mysteries remain a mystery for now. But I appreciate how the game wastes no time setting up the story and then throwing you into the deep end of it. It's good stuff. But how is the gameplay, which is a mix of action RPG and farming simulation? In a word, fun. The farming element is straightforward. Hoe the earth, plant some seeds, water your crops, and then harvest the food when it's ready. These crops can then either be kept as ingredients to make health-replenishing meals, or sold for cash, which can then be used to upgrade weapons, buy stat-boosting accessories, buy seeds for your farm, or buy a pet. Right now, there's not a whole lot you can do farming-wise, or fishing-wise for that matter. I managed to craft a fishing rod, but I didn't catch a thing. So I can't really speak to the life simulation aspects of the game, because a lot of it is gated off. I will say, though, that I'm digging the sense of urgency that underlines all of your activities. You only have about 18 hours to get all of your farming, fishing, and fighting done, otherwise you'll collapse from exhaustion and have to pay a doctor's fee to be revived, so every moment you dawdle, wondering if you should plant more grass or water your wheat, is a moment that could be used to explore nearby dungeons and do battle with all sorts of weird and wacky creatures. Which brings us to combat, my favorite part of the game so far. Now, I'm not going to tell you that the combat mechanics are deep and complex, they're not. But that's what I like about them. They're straightforward and accessible, which I've come to expect from this type of game. I mean, I'm not looking for a crazy Soulsborne experience here, people. I'm just looking for something fun. And that's what Harvestella offers, fun. Just run up to an enemy, press Y to attack, then ZR and the corresponding face button to access a special skill, and voila, enemy defeated. Well, it's not always quite that easy. Some enemies can be pretty tough nuts to crack, and require you to break through their armor before you can do any real damage. Luckily, Harvestella includes a nifty feature that lets you freely swap out job classes in the middle of battle, and access the right skill needed to take an enemy down faster and more effectively. What kind of jobs are there? Well, so far only 2, Swordsman and Mage. But I assume that there are more job classes to unlock, and I like that by collecting special points in battle, you can access increasingly useful abilities. Yes, there's a skill tree. There are also AI companions that join your group with their own set of skills, like a very nice robot lady who wields black magic, and a hilariously pompous unicorn with an impressive vocabulary and a lot of healing magic. Having an AI buddy help you in battle is of course handy, although I felt like my hero did most of the heavy lifting. I'd also like to add that although I consider combat to be fun, there are a couple of frustrating things about it. For one, the lock-on system isn't very good. What is the point of a lock-on system if the camera doesn't follow the action? I also feel like the controls are a bit clunky. It's hard to explain, but it felt like the input is slightly off. And I wish you could pause combat long enough to grab a crucial item from your inventory. I know not being able to pause makes things more exciting, but it can also be a source of frustration. But even with these drawbacks, battle is still snappy and fun, and I can't really ask for too much more. By the way, when you're not in battle, you'll be exploring the world around you, and as I said before, it's very pretty, but it's also pleasantly interactive. I found myself repairing bridges and ladders, sneaking past fearsome foes, and foraging for valuable resources. There really is always something to see and do in Harvestella. And since the clock was constantly ticking, I was glad that there were teleportation devices scattered around in case I needed to get home before midnight. By the way, if you're worried about not making it back to your house in time and collapsing, don't be, because the game is constantly reminding you to go to bed. Seriously, it does this starting at 6 p.m. Are you kidding me, game? You're worse than Morgana. At any rate, even with a couple of notable flaws like blurry visuals and slightly clunky controls, I enjoyed my time with Harvestella, and I think the demo is worth your time. And for those wondering, yes, you can import your save data to the full game when it releases on November 4th. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you later.